What really makes someone become a fanatic? Today, we're going to dig into that. We're breaking down the anatomy of a mass movement and, more importantly, the psychology of the people who get swept up in them. I mean, it's a fascinating question, isn't it? You look at these groups, and on the surface, they seem like they're from different planets, right? Fighting for totally opposite things. But what if the psychological engine driving all of them is exactly the same? Well, that is the explosive idea behind this book, The True Believer. It was written way back in 1951 by a pretty incredible philosopher named Eric Hoffer. And what's so cool is he didn't really care about the specific doctrines, the what they believed. He was obsessed with the raw human material they all attract and the psychological machinery they all have in common. And this quote right here, it really gets to the heart of it. Hoffer is basically saying, look, it doesn't matter if a movement is religious, social, or nationalist, it will always breed the same stuff: fanaticism, hope, hatred, intolerance. It's like they're all cut from the exact same psychological cloth. Okay, so let's dig into that. We'll start with the what. What exactly is this shared DNA that seems to link all these different mass movements together? Hoffer has this incredible analogy to explain it. Think about a tomato and a poisonous nightshade berry. Botanically, they're in the same family, they look kind of similar, they have a similar structure, but one of them nourishes you and the other one will kill you. Hoffer says mass movements are just like that. A movement for civil rights and, say, the Nazi movement, they couldn't be more different in their outcomes, right? Good versus evil. But he argues they operate on a very similar psychological framework. The results are worlds apart, but the inner workings, they have this spooky family likeness. So that begs the really crucial question: who? Who is actually drawn to these movements? Who becomes what Hoffer calls a true believer? And this right here is maybe Hoffer's most powerful insight. Mass movements don't go looking for happy, successful, fulfilled people. No, they're raw material. The people they attract are the frustrated, people who feel like their own lives are just hopelessly spoiled and meaningless. Yeah, Hoffer is super blunt about it with this quote. He basically says, if your own business is worth minding, you mind it. But if it's not, if it feels worthless, you just desperately look for purpose somewhere else. You find it by jumping headfirst into the grand, dramatic business of a tribe or a nation or a holy cause. It's the ultimate escape from a self you just can't stand anymore. And he doesn't just stop there. He gets really specific about who these potential converts actually are. So he lays out these different types. You've got the new poor, people who recently lost everything and feel totally cheated. You've got the misfits, who just never felt like they fit in anywhere. And this one is interesting, the ambitious. People who have unlimited opportunities can get frustrated that they aren't achieving even more. But check out the last two on this list, the bored and the sinners. Think about it. People suffering from just crushing meaninglessness or a deep sense of guilt. They are absolutely prime candidates for a movement that comes along and offers purpose and redemption.
Okay, so all of this points to a core human craving, and it's something that is deeply counterintuitive. It's probably not what you're thinking.
See, we usually assume people join these movements to improve their own lives, right? To get more power, more money, to advance themselves. But Hoffer says, for the true believer, that's completely wrong. The real ultimate appeal is the passion for self-renunciation. It's the chance to get rid of your failed individual self, to throw it away, to sacrifice it, and just dissolve into something bigger. And this isn't really about self-destruction. It's about rebirth. That's the key. By identifying with a holy cause, the frustrated person can finally shed that spoiled identity they hate and be born again as a part of this glorious eternal group. It is the ultimate escape. So if that's the core desire, that escape, how do mass movements actually do it? What are the tools that are in their toolbox to forge this kind of powerful unity? Well, the first and most important tool is what he calls united action. And the way you get that is by stripping away individuality. The movement just works tirelessly to erase a person's private ambitions, their own judgments, even their privacy. The goal is to absorb them into this compact collective whole. So when you ask them who they are, they don't say their name. They say, I'm a communist, or I'm a Christian, or I'm a patriot. And once that individual self is gone, once your only identity is the group, then self-sacrifice makes perfect sense. Dying doesn't seem like the end anymore, because if the collective lives on, then a part of you lives on. And this, right here, is how movements create martyrs and soldiers who aren't afraid to die.
The next tool is, well, it's a dark one. It's hatred. Hoffer calls hatred the most accessible and effective unifying agent there is, because a shared enemy, a common hatred, is like a shortcut to dissolving the self. It instantly pulls you out of your own petty worries and fuses you together with everyone else into what he calls a flaming mass.
And this leads to what is probably the most chilling and the most famous line in the whole book. It turns out you don't need a god to start a mass movement, but you absolutely need a devil. The power of the movement depends entirely on how vivid and real its enemy feels. A holy cause has to have a devil. It gives everyone a clear target for all that frustration and a dead simple explanation for everything that's wrong in their lives. So, what's the big takeaway here? At the end of the day, Hoffer's most radical idea is this. The specific ideology, the communism, the fascism, the specific religion, a lot of the time, that's just the packaging. The real fuel, the engine driving the whole thing, is that profound, desperate human need to escape a life that just feels meaningless. A mass movement is a vehicle for that escape. It offers a brand new identity, a powerful sense of purpose, a chance to be born again. And all it costs is your individual self. And that leaves us with a really powerful lens to look at the world, doesn't it? So the next time you see a movement today, any movement, don't just ask what they believe. Go deeper. Ask who they are. And ask yourself, what spoiled self are they so desperate to leave behind? It's a question that's just as powerful today as it was when Hoffer first asked it.